Awesome. And we are back. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have got a very special guest today. We've got David from Stumble Upon Rumble. If you don't know, it is the biggest, latest boxing game to come out on the blockchain. And yes, at some stage during this podcast, we will do a little 1v1. And we did a test run before happening. And I can confirm I did get absolutely blasted. But don't worry about that. David, over to you, my friend. How are you?
Hey man, yeah, glad to be here. I'm good. Excited to tell everyone about what we're doing here and what's coming soon.
Awesome. So yeah, like before we get into the nuts and bolts of what Stumble Upon Rumble actually is, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Who are you? What's your origin story in crypto, and more importantly, crypto gaming?
Yeah, for sure. So my background is I studied economics, and before I also worked at like a mobile startup. Um, I joined crypto like on a personal level in like the bear market late 2018, 2019, which is a pretty rare case, I would say, because a lot of people they join when the hype is there, and then they either get burned and decide to stick around or they leave again. But I actually like I was already kind of reading up on crypto and everything, but I was kind of staying away in 2017 from all the hype. And then when prices were back down, I was like getting deeper into it, started buying a little bit, and then getting more deep into it as time progressed. In early 21, I actually got my first like job in the crypto space. I joined like the research team of Crypto Banter when they were still much smaller than they are today. And I was already working on Stumble Upon Rumble on the side. It's kind of like a passion project with two of our earliest team members. And then obviously the whole game boom happened in 21, and early 22 we decided to really go full time with Stumble Upon Rumble. And yeah, we've been working on that ever since.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. So what was so you obviously came in at a very interesting time. Like, dude, what was the first coin you ever bought?
I think it was called like Digitex or something. It was like an exchange. Was Someone recommended me to buy it, and I did it. And then obviously Bitcoin, I bought it around at the same time, and from there on, just kept buying. I bought a bunch of shit as well. It's completely dead now.
Did it go to zero, or did it actually like moon?
It mooned, and then I held it, and it eventually went to zero.
Oh Christ. Okay, dude, nice. So what's the origin story of Stumble and Rumble? How did that actually come to fruition?
Yeah, so it was an idea that I kind of had for a longer time already. Kind of like combining two of my old favorite games, which is like the old Zelda games and Punch Out. Like this kind of like a crossover. You could consider our game that. And I met Ari and Yari online, and they both kind of shared this vision also to build like a skill-based game is what we really wanted to do. That's on mobile, because like a lot of mobile games today are like very pay to win and stuff. Like you need to, you have a bunch of upgrades and timers, and it's basically like a way to get as much microtransactions out of the user as possible. And we really wanted to get like this old type of game back where you beat your friends, and you kind of taunt them with it because you really it meant something to win basically. And we wanted to give players today this feeling back by creating like an arcade game but with modern technology kind of thing.
Yeah, nice. And then how does like crypto and the blockchain actually like tie into it? Like, how have you managed to add that?
Yeah, so obviously at like the most obvious level is just like the cosmetics and NFTs for that. So digital ownership, I mean, that's just like the way that NFTs are going to get major adoption, in my opinion. So obviously that works in our game as well. Like we have a very social game with like 30 players in a room, and it makes sense for players to want to basically express themselves in a certain way and look the way they want to. So we add NFTs for that, so people really own the items that they have. And we have very interesting features with like token fights or like bets, if you could call it that. And we've created like a very dynamic economy around that as well, where the value also goes back to the users, etc. So, but I'll tell more about that later.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I mean, like I've full disclosure, I did mint a pair of gloves. When I first got them, they weren't the ones I wanted because I was hoping for some like Dragon Ball Z or maybe like Sub Zero style gloves. But the more I've played the game, and the more I've fallen in love with my green little pink dotted gloves. So, dude, I'm super stoked. Like when we get on a little bit further to do like an actual a live demonstration. So I'd like to know more about like the actual game mechanics. I know you're changing the way like gaming and staking is actually done.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So we actually wrote a thread about this last week, and it's a big problem in crypto games, especially where you have like a lot of token holders who are like part of the community and stuff, and they want the game to be made. But then when games come, when they start, shipping either like an alpha or like a beta version, you see that the show up is so much lower than a total amount of token holders. So it kind of leaves the question like, do these people really want the games, or do they want the games so others can play them? But of course, as a project, you really want to involve all the token holders. You want them to be part of the community. You want them to be part of the whole economy, so they also create value. And of course, if they're more involved, then they're also just become more loyal members of the community and more loyal diamond-handed token holders. So what we're actually doing is, we're creating a way to involve those people into the economy through staking. So they don't have to necessarily get in the game, play a lot, and get skilled to be able to place bets themselves, but they can actually just go through our dashboard, see through like all the player stats, and then, for example, they see, okay, Dan, he's a great player, he has a great track record. I want to stake my tokens behind him. And then every time you're fighting, they're kind of putting their bets on you as well. So when you win, they win tokens, but if you lose, they also lose tokens. And that way, they're still participating in the whole like value economy. Their earnings also get fees involved with them, and they also get burned. So they really get involved in the whole process, but they don't need to actually play for hours a day. They can just chill. Maybe they can watch you, if you're doing a live stream, they can see how you're doing, but they don't really need to actually be on the game a lot themselves.
Yeah, because that's always been like a really interesting concept, because I come from like a gaming background. I played like a lot of RuneScape, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, played some of it semi-competitively with like guilds and clans. But when I found that I actually didn't have the actual time to dedicate like 10 hours a day to these games, I found that like I was watching them more and I wanted to get involved, but I couldn't because there was never a platform, or actually I couldn't be bothered to look, but still there was never a platform that would allow me to almost like back the teams and the guilds and the clans that I wanted. So is this kind of like your take on almost like esports betting?
Yeah, you could definitely see it that way, because in our dashboard, you also see like the rankings of our players. So you see leaderboards, you can filter it on different things. So you can also look at more up and coming players, but you also see like the top players who are like consistently profitable, who are got the most wins, the best win ratio. So you can definitely see like the most skilled players represented in that way, and they also get backing because they are so good. So they're on top of the leaderboard, so they might get a lot of backing, and because part of that backing goes back to the player, the kind of esporters also get like a large cut of that revenue. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Who's has that leaderboard gone live now?
It isn't live yet. Like we have a little preview of it, how it's gonna look. I could share the screen to show you.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask for like the early alpha, like in the beta testing, like who's number one, who's actually like winning, and who should I be backing my money behind?
I can't tell you exactly the player's name, but on OpenSea you can kind of filter through the trades, and you see how many wins every pair of glove has. I believe there's one person who's got over 100 wins already with like a couple of fight nights, so he's good. Like we've seen people go on 25 win streaks during the beta, like the whole fight night stuff. So there's definitely some people that are really showing their skill already.
Wow. Well, and I can confirm for the audience out there, it is neither me or David who has that kind of win streak.
Unfortunately, not. No. So let me
Yeah,
just pull up the. Can you see my screen now?
it's gonna come up. Boom.
Yeah. So this is like the thread we wrote recently, and you can see this is like the staking dashboard. So you have a list of players, and you have different type of people. So these are like the esporters, like the top players. When you go to that tab, the most backed players, the most wins, but also fast growing. So like with smaller backings, but people are really catching up. You can see new fighters up and coming. So you have a bunch of filters, and we'll also add like a filter button where you can go for like a specific win range and stuff. So you see these players, and you can add your stake to them. And when you actually press more details, you'll actually see stuff like this. So you'll see like their last performance, how they did. You can see how much they play, how much wins they got, how many matches they play, how much time they play per week. Because of course you also want them to be active, so they place a lot of bets. So you're earning tokens and stuff. So yeah, that's how it's going to look like. It's almost like a DeFi dashboard for a game. So like
Nice.
what you hear a lot is that projects like DeFi projects are kind of like gamifying their DeFi product, but we're more like a game that's adding like DeFi elements to the game. So it's kind of like the opposite.
And that's the one thing I have been saying that I'm extremely bullish on throughout like the next 12 to 18 months. It's how can you gamify like what you're doing? Because dude, I'll be honest, when you're just like farming or like doing some kind of like farming loop on a DeFi protocol, dude, it's boring as shit. And if there's like better yield somewhere else, you are definitely going to move. And I think what
Mm-hmm.
projects like yourself, and there's a few other ones like Spider Decks as well, what you guys are doing extremely well is gamifying DeFi, but then you're DeFiing GameFi. That's the way you're doing it. You're DeFiing
Yeah,
GameFi.
exactly.
To then actually give people the incentive to be here. We can all relate to this boxing game. We've all played 2D, almost like side-scrolling style games, arcade games like this. And for the gamers out there, they will have all of those memories. And the game this reminded me of, this was something I had on Sega, like the original 16-bit Sega, was two crude dudes or two rude crude dudes. And it was literally like this kind of graphics, just side-scrolling, just like kicking cans, beating. I can't remember what the enemy was, but it was like it was a weird hog, almost like Duke Nukem style. Yeah, and I think that's going to bring like a lot of nostalgia to people. So, dude, I am well excited to see that. When does all like the dashboard and the staking officially go live?
So what we've got coming up soon is our token launch. Of course, we need a token for this stuff to go live first, but we also need like part of like the whole funding and stuff to really build out the this last part of the game, because this is of course a very delicate part of the game. You know, there's real value at stake. You don't want these contracts to get exploited. You don't want people to basically ruin the whole economy by finding ways to exploit the bets in the game and stuff. So we need to get this stuff audited as well, and get proper support for it. So it's coming. Like a lot of the game is done. Like it's already playable. You've seen it. A bunch of our community members are actively playing it. It's just like these last key points that we still need to do. So I'd say like a couple of months.
Yeah, nice. And then what's the token actually called?
It's called a glove. So the glove
Oh,
token based on like the boxing glove. It's like a golden
so
golden
clever.
boxing glove. Yeah.
Oh, was there? I didn't see, but was there a pair of golden, like rare golden boxing gloves out there?
Yeah, to wear in a game, yeah, there is one as well. So
And
101.
what other kind of like gear are you going to be giving like people to use for their characters?
So there's currently 3 ways that you can customize your character. Well, actually 4 if you count the gloves as well. But you can change the way your character looks. You can change the hat that your character is wearing, and you can change the arena that you're fighting from. So when you're the person that's on a winning streak, basically the entire environment changes to your arena, the one that you have selected, and everyone's now walking around and viewing that arena. So it's also an opportunity, for example, for like a skilled players for advertising, for example. Because if you're constantly streaking, then there's like 30 players constantly walking around in your room, and you could add like a billboard to it where it's like, for example, blockmates being advertised when you're fighting. Everyone sees like a billboard in the game with like blockmates, that kind of stuff. And then one of the
Wow. So are you gonna open this up to like real world advertising then as well?
Yeah, that's definitely in the plans as well. And part of what we're also going to do is kind of have these interstitial ads that are kind of optional and also share in the revenue. So kind of like a Brave browser model, but then in game with like in-game mobile ads.
Oh wow, dude, that is so cool. And when it comes to actual arenas, like, are you going to be basing these off um kind of like historical themes? The one I don't know why, it's because I was writing it for the newsletter today, but like, are you going to have like a Pokemon stadium theme or something like really famous boxing arenas or such?
Yeah, I mean probably not Pokemon because we're gonna get our asses sued. But
True.
I mean currently like for the first batch that we did, we kind of kept it generic. Just some common day-to-day themes like environments that you see. But we also want to do like theme drops. We actually have some pretty fun stuff for kind of like a crypto theme. Whereas, for example, like a Fed building, and there's like the money printers, so you can see like the meme with the old guys in
Oh,
suits turning the money printers and that kind of stuff. So we do want to add like some dynamic ones as well. Um, yeah, so
oh,
it's gonna be a lot of different things.
imagine having like a pond or a lily and then having like loads of little like Pepes just dancing around and like jumping at the sides. That would be so cool.
Yeah, that would be sick as well. It's definitely a good one.
So um what's the actual like future looking like? Because on one of your posts you're talking about and we briefly touched on it now, like incentivizing players. And obviously a lot of people like to watch gaming. What kind of like routes are you potentially thinking about going down in that way?
So what we hope to attract as a major stream, I mean, of course, every game hopes for to get streamer coverage, but we actually also do have plans to incentivize that. So one of the things that actually serves as a big incentive is the whole token staking thing. So for a streamer, for example, they of course also want more engaged viewers, and if their viewers are actually staking their tokens behind them, then they're like super connected to the content you're making, because when they're watching you and you're winning fights, they're also winning tokens and they're also getting value. So they really feel the excitement when you're fighting because they actually have something on the line. And then in addition to that, they actually earn as well, because on every basically staked fight, the winnings, there's also a fee involved in that. So, for example, we have this explained in the thread. But if the staker wins like 100 tokens to the total stake amount, then like a small percentage of that will be burned, but a percentage of that would also be given to the player who's staking, who's staking is received. So basically, the player. So the more backing that he has, the larger the stake that he has behind him, the more of this fees that he's getting. So if you are like a very big streamer and you have like super large backing behind you, then every fight you're playing, you're basically getting free tokens from these fees, as
Oh
well as
wow.
stuff like affiliate programs where they can refer people and then they get tokens based on certain metrics and that kind of stuff.
Oh, very nice. And I just want to very quickly just share one of my screens, this one, because you have some very, very interesting people already in on this project as well. Um, and I guess the big question here is out of all of these people, who is currently winning? Who is like the best stumble upon rumbler here?
So this is actually just like the tip of the iceberg. We need to really update this soon, because as we currently standing, I think the last time I counted, we had like 41 or 42 integrated partners, and this varies from like L1 blue chips like Neo Tokyo, Llamaverse, Pixelmon, but also for actually like L2 Arbitrum DeFi projects like Premia. We got Sparta Dex. We even have like a Dopex Diamond Pepe character. So we really have like a very diverse group of partners, and it's also a lot of, to touch back on the cosmetics from before. So we don't just have like general kind of characters you can wear, but actually all of these partners you can play as in the game if you own one of their assets. So for example, if you hold a certain NFT of another partner's collection, then holding that NFT is the thing that unlocks the character in the game. So when you see, for example, a Camelot Knight in the game, you know it's actually like a Grail token holder and not just some random guy who bought a Camelot character in the game, but it's actually like the community itself.
I'm going to be looking forward to seeing little Spartans in game, because I know that'll be a Sparta Dex, and I know Hubert has been working extremely hard behind the scenes on it. So I will gladly back my gloves on him and the Spartan team, and I think like there'll be all those memes, right? Of this is Sparta as he like kicks somebody out of the ring and just letting it fly. Okay, so you got a lot of cool people. So I've got to ask, like, is Alex Becker going to be coming on? Or like Elio Trades? Because I remember they were the big GameFi bulls, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean they don't really back individual projects as much anymore. I mean we're kind of like a Neo Tokyo, which is their NFT collection, like native project, because I've been in there since the start. It's a very gaming founder oriented community. So we've been involved there from the start, and we also want to include them in the things that we do. Hopefully they pick it up eventually as well, and maybe give it a little shout out, but we'll see.
Good, because I want to see them fight, because they've like they talk a really good game about finding games and what to look for in games, but I want to know if they're actually like, if they're good at games. Like if they play Call of Duty, will they have a 3-to-1 kill death ratio, or are they just one of the noobs who runs around with like in Modern Warfare? I think it was like Modern Warfare 2 on Terminal, where you just run around with like a noob tube and just completely just keep noob tubing people. I'd love to know what style of gamer they are. I think that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be fun. It would definitely be fun. Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious. And then real money gaming, like what's that and how does that come into it?
Yeah, so that's basically in our name for like the whole token fight kind of betting stuff in the game. So it's a newer but very up and coming part of the gaming market. I think last I checked, like there's not exactly great data about it yet, but I think it was estimated to be around $2 billion market in 21. And you see this especially in like emerging markets where there's like less of a taboo around it. For example, in India, which is like a up and coming market for games as well. And when you look at like the total revenue scheme for games, for example, cosmetics and actually like console sales, they're like pretty lacking in terms of like how much revenue to make up of the total. But when you look at, for example, the real money gaming market, you actually make up a third of that. So it's like very big there. There was a stat that I think 50% of Indian Gen Z gamers are like actively playing in real money gaming. So it's like a huge thing there. And what you often see is that these kind of trends that happen in emerging markets also later come to like the Western market, and we kind of take that over. You're already seeing it a little bit in, for example, Skills with the Z. It's like a US based company, a public company, and they did like $2.5 billion in game bets in 2021. So there's definitely some adoption happening already, even in the West. But we really see this going way beyond, especially with the rise of Web3, where people are more kind of used to having real value in the digital world and stuff. So I think it's definitely moving in that direction.
So will you literally be able to like buy and sell stuff for real life gold coins?
In the
Is
game,
that
you
how
mean?
like real? Hey, is that okay? Is that okay? I see how that works then.
Yeah.
I see how that works. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. So you're gonna go from blockchain gaming into EA Sports. I love it. Right. My guys is looking really. Yeah. I want a hat on my guy, because this is the second NFT that I've got minted for a game, and it's been bald. First one I did was like in the Beacon, and it was a bald, grumpy, miserable thing. My guy now just looks bald and savage. I think we do a little in-game demonstration. For those of you who are just listening, you're just going to have to listen to the funny sound effects that will probably pop up. If you're watching, please give us a thumbs up, because I would actually like to win this one.
Yeah, let me hop in a game.
And yes, my gamer tag in crypto is the Barbecue Man. So if you ever see the Barbecue Man somewhere, it's probably me.
This is good to know. All right, so
oh, there we go. Look
you
at
can
that.
see me now, so you can chat here.
What's up?
You know, do a little bit of trash talking.
Kick your ass. Whoa, here we go.
So normally it's just the two of us now, but of course normally there would be like up to 30 people here standing around the ring, also chatting, you know, watching the fight. And everything happens in real time, of course. So like we're both moving at the same time, both punching at the same time. It's not like turn-based stuff.
Dude, one thing that you're gonna actually have to do is the people that are just chilling at the side will be able to, like, you know, do some bench presses, you know, do some bicep curls. And if you get a sponsorship for like Protein Works or something, that'd be unreal.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I also want to make the boxing, like the punching bags, actually make them like movable and punchable. That would be fun.
Dude, this is so degen. Oh, look at that. Lost again. All right, let's go one more time. Look at you. Look at you. Like we were saying earlier, like in this like weight now, you should definitely be able to punch each other, because if I've just gone on like a 25 losing streak, I just want to keep trolling you, or like in Halo where you just like teabag each other. So funny.
So you can actually troll better as a winner, because you can actually punch like the people when there's people standing here on the sides. For example, here you can just punch them and kind of taunt them. So if you're on a 25 win streak and you're punching people on the sides, then they definitely get it definitely gets to them eventually.
Okay, so we have a punch, a super power kick, and a and a block.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a little bit rock paper scissors, where not in a random sense, but that everything has a strength and a weakness. So.
And this is the part.
What's most important in the game is really the movement. So you need to kind of deceive your opponent into making them think you're going one way, but actually going another.
There's actually, like, ladies and gentlemen, there's actually quite a lot of skill doing this in this. Kind of I wish I hadn't said that I used to play a lot of like RuneScape, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, because I'm getting absolutely smashed.
It's very easy to like start with, because the mechanics are very simple, but there's like a very large skill gap that you can still cover. Like the difference between a new player and like a very good player is really large.
And what have you found to be like the tactics of people who have won?
So it's mainly about the movement. Like what you see with new players is they walk like in direct lines a little bit. So they press one key at the time, like going up, going sideways. But like the best players are really just mailing buttons all at once and just really like, you know, start confusing the opponent because they got no idea what their next move is going to be.
It literally is just button bash. It's like Street Fighter 4, where you just like button bashing. Kind of. Oh, mate, that was the fastest one. Absolutely schooled. All right. I don't think I can have public embarrassment like that anymore. Take that off.
I should have let you won once.
I know, right? Just for purposes of the internet and show. Hilarious, dude. Hilarious. I got to say, like, when I was testing this out yesterday, it's very easy. It's very smooth. There was like literally no issues from downloading the game, installing it, to creating an account, connecting my wallet, which then linked in my green spotted gloves. Like, dude, this was completely flawless. Where like you've obviously got like a region button here, like where are the on, you know, bigger mass launch, what kind of like regions are you going to be launching with?
So we kind of want to roll it out a little bit more focused initially. Also, so we have like you know, group players on the same server, so it's not like spread across 3 players here, 3 players there, because it's gonna start smaller, of course. So I mean, obviously, I mentioned India as being really big in real money gaming. We would love to make a big initial presence there and really take this whole new system of real money gaming and introduce to them first because they're so used to it. But after that, also, of course, just the major markets, US. And what we like to do is also combine regions where it's like cheaper user acquisition on the one hand, but also like higher value people on our end. For example, Brazil and US, they're pretty decently close to each other. But user acquisition is very cheap in Brazil, so we can get lots of users, fill up the servers, and then start dabbling into like the US market, see how the revenue is for those players. But they actually do have players to play against. Because if you start from scratch right in the US market, then user acquisition cost is going to be very expensive to really get to like a playable skill where there's always like servers with activity happening. So
yeah. And where's your biggest player base at the moment?
it's pretty spread out. I would say the biggest ones are EU. That's where we're seeing most of the players, but like individual countries. I think the Philippines is very big, but of course they also had this whole play to earn wave with Axie and stuff, so they're very far in adopting like crypto games already. So guess that's where we're seeing the most activity.
I feel like that's some early alpha then, because it really is like the Filipinos, they pick up crypto games quite quickly, especially ones that have like a lot of potential to, you know, make whoever's playing, you know, good revenue.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a
Right.
good signal.
Mate, definitely good signal. Definitely good signal. Before we move on to some quick fire anonymous questions, is there anything like you'd like to cover?
I mean, we got a big announcement coming up. I would definitely advise everyone to look into that. So yesterday we kind of teased it. So we did a poll like the best way to launch a token, and our community definitely said that they like the whole fair launch approach. It also makes a lot of sense to us because we're quite far already. Like, you know, the game is pretty far. It's not like you buy our token and then 2 years from now you're going to play the alpha version for the first time. Like, we already have the game and the token is going to be implemented and usable in the game pretty soon. So we want to get it out directly to the public. So we're actually going to do a fair launch soon. So this is the first time I'm really saying it officially. So we're going to fair launch our token, our glove token soon. So, you know, definitely stay tuned for that. And then also go through those threads. Yeah, go through those threads to really see, like, understand the value and understand like the uniqueness of our economy and how it's really just, it hasn't been done before. So
Okay, and if someone didn't have time to like read the thread, how would you TLDR the thread of like why it's special?
I mean, just considering that what we just talked about with real money gaming, we're the first game to really have real money gaming and value betting in this kind of social setting. So, you know, a lot of them are turn-based, but we really have it like in a direct real-time multiplayer social setting. People are chatting. I'm watching other people win or lose tokens. It's like a real deeper layer to the whole experience. And then the whole staking thing where we're involving the passive token holder into like the game economy and into the thrill of experiencing the wins and losses. It hasn't been done before. So I guess that's like the short version of why you should be excited about it.
That's why people should pay attention to this, because it literally is the first of its kind, which is why I think this is going to be so special. Are you able to give any more information about the public fair launch at all? Because I know that will be on everybody's mind that now you've just dropped that alpha.
I can't say too much yet. We got some information coming up in the coming days. What I can say is that it will be a large batch of the total supply. So it's really going to be focused on the public, getting those tokens in the hands of like the people who want to be involved. And it's really just going to be completely up to the people. So, you know, depending on how much interest there is, how much capital is committed, that decides the valuation. It's not like we charge a fixed price for the token or anything. It's really like, let's see where it goes. And
true
excited.
PvP in a PvP game. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, okay. So let's move on to the quick fire anonymous questions. We've got 6 to go through, and all I want is your first answer or the first thing that really comes to mind. Question 1: pineapples on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Do you let your team beat you at Stumble Upon Rumble?
Yes.
All-time favorite game?
Call of Duty.
Oh, which one?
Black Ops 2.
Interesting choice. Pick one C tier to go 1v1 on Stumble Upon Rumble with. It could be anyone.
One CT crypto Twitter person, you mean?
Yep.
GameZ would be fun because if it's like outspoken personality.
Well, okay. Gainsey, you heard it here first. If you're watching, my friend, let's get in touch and let's have a showdown right here. Get like a personalized character and we just go 1v1 against David. And then finally, what legacy do you want to leave in the crypto industry?
I really hope that this new kind of real money gaming system picks up, especially the whole finding ways to involve the token holders and not just the gamers. I think I really hope that we can make an impact with what we're doing here and seeing many games follow our lead in this eventually.
I think you're on the way to doing that. I think this is new. This is going to be shiny, and I think, mate, what you're about to create and let loose on the public is going to be freaking awesome. And to finish off, where can we find you? You know, what are your socials?
Best place to follow us would probably be Twitter. So Stumble You Rumble, or you just search for Stumble Upon Rumble. You can also find our link tree, like our Discord there. You can find discord.gg/stumble upon rumble, and you can join to our server. That's like the most engaging way you can speak to the whole team directly. Like, we're very involved. The whole team is. We're not like one of these teams that don't really hop into the community or don't really talk to the people. We're always there. You can ping us directly. We'll speak to you. We love to talk to people about our game. And if you're just there for the major announcements, then probably just stick to Twitter and see all the big updates there.
Awesome, David. Any closing words from you, mate?
I just want to thank you for having us here. Obviously excited to spread the word about this to more people. And I wanted to thank everyone for listening, hearing our story, and hopefully, we'll see you in the ring soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was David from Stumble Upon Rumble, legend. Oh, yeah, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all that funky jazz. I'll put all of our links down there. I'll put all of David's links down there. And then, do that cool stuff. Peace.